Sinila Fibbie Tatti Siridi, Sahtugotine. My name is Fibbie Tatti. I am a member of the Sahtugotine First Nation. Deline, my home community, is situated on Great Bear Lake. And Great Bear Lake is Sahtu in our language, hence the Sahtugotine people. The Sahtugotine are a tribe of the Dene. The word Dene means people from the earth. Our culture, our language, our very identity comes from our traditional land. The topic is the role of conversation of elders in our traditional setting. Our traditional knowledge, our laws, our worldview, our spirituality are passed on from generation to generation by our elders using the art of conversation. The elders and the other members of the community would come together to enjoy each other's company. It was also a time for the elders to provide guidance to the community. In this environment, everyone was part of the conversation. Elders would take turns telling stories. They were also active listeners. When one person was telling a story, others would participate by repeating a key phrase or sentence to emphasize its significance, to accentuate the humor, or to highlight a question. The stories told use very rich vocabulary, the language from the land. A story might include a love song to the beauty of the land or to a loved one. A wide variety of topics were discussed, and stories told often included current events, what was happening in the community at the time, to help resolve disputes from families and the community, to impart knowledge about our traditional land and the resources on our land. Elders might tell stories that provide historical information about important events or people. They might tell stories about the Sahtugotine spirituality and our worldview. In most cases, the stories told were meant to be entertaining, to make people laugh, as well as to teach people and to provide guidance. I'm going to demonstrate elders conversing by telling you a story my father told me. A man and his brother-in-law were out on the land looking for caribou. They made camp in a place where caribou usually passed. They waited. In the morning, they woke up to the most beautiful song they had ever heard being sung by a woman. They lay there listening. The music was so beautiful. The song was about love of the land. The lyrics to the song were as follows. How can you be tired of wandering on the land? What did you mean you want to rest? Look how beautiful the land is. The beauty of the land stretches out into the horizon. The land is so beautiful to look at, to appreciate, to gaze at, and to breathe in. One is literally overcome by its exoticness. It is paradise. To gaze out on the land is to experience living. You cannot rest, for then you cannot see. When one dies, one can rest. But it would mean never again to see the land and its beauty. These are the words the woman's voice was singing so beautifully. It was a love song. The man and his brother-in-law were listening, mesmerized by the beauty and the rapture of the song. Finally, the brother-in-law said, I thought we were out here by ourselves, with no one near us. Who is that singing, and where is it coming from? The man answered, all these years we have been working together, and you have repeatedly told me that you are a strong medicine power. And yet you ask, what is it? Do you not know who that is? That is the caribou singing its love song for the land it travels on, for the land that gives us life, for the land that loves us, for the land we must be caregivers for the land that keeps us wandering, to share in its beauty and its delight. Why did my father tell me this story? What was he trying to tell me? My father was trying to teach me about just one aspect of the Sahtugotine spirituality. The men were out on the land and seeing the caribou, this concrete world we all see. We call it a Dene, the now world. By hearing the song and realizing that it was being sung by the caribou is a vivid introduction into the existence and the meaning of Dene, or the upper world. Knowing the caribou at this level is very different from the level of seeing the caribou in a Dene, the now world, in which you are crossing the tundra hunting for food. The story reveals that the caribou can speak and in fact can sing in a beautiful voice. The message speaks to the very nature of the caribou's behavior, always in migration and following the seasons. By its song, the caribou is conversing with us. It is celebrating being alive and expressing the wonder and beauty of the land. This story illustrates that some people have the ability to see beyond the now world. They have the ability to see the upper world, to perceive another dimension to the world we live in. The caribou have lived on this land since time immemorial, so they can see and appreciate the land and its living beings in their entirety. For us, the human beings, we may only get a glimpse of the Dene, the upper world, some much more than others. Spirituality in its practice is not necessarily the ability to actually see and experience Dene, the upper world, but rather to know from the stories and the teachings of the elders that it exists and to understand and appreciate it. It is to know the caribou and who they are as Dene, living beings, that the caribou have this knowledge and love of their land since time immemorial, and that they know from the creation story that part of their role in this world is to sustain the Dene. Spirituality is first of all having this knowledge about the caribou and appreciating the caribou offering themselves to us. This knowledge engenders respect for the caribou and its Dene and leads to the formulation of laws regarding how to treat them and how to behave in their presence. We believe the Creator sent the animals to earth before us. We believe that the animals offer themselves to us so that we can survive, and we reciprocate by treating them with the respect that they deserve. Elders believe it is their duty to pass on their knowledge about Sahtugotine spirituality and our vision of the world. Elders do this through the art of conversation. Masi.